All right, hello everyone. Uh, just starting the live call, so giving you just a few moments to pop on and let me know that you are here. And hello, Heather and Lorraine and Dawn. So nice to feel your energies coming in this morning here in Tacoma, Washington, in the Pacific Northwest. But I am also aware that for many of you, it's midday, it's evening, it's in the middle of the night. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, I'm going to be talking about some massive frequency fluctuations that we are having in the energy field that is really impacting us right now in ways that I have not seen before. So some of the questions are: have you been feeling out of sorts lately? Have you been experiencing some levels of forgetfulness, confusion, disorientation? And how many of you are having um, ascension symptoms such as dizzy spells and headaches, and maybe even a little bit of nausea that goes with all of that? So, anyway, it's wonderful to see you all. And my name is Nancy Rebecca. I have been working as a clairvoyant, healer, psychic, and professional psychic teacher for 30 years now. And I had an experience where I suddenly became sighted. I'm a registered nurse, so I started seeing the human energy field. And that really has become my incredible obsessive passion for those 30 years of really trying to understand and help to teach you to understand just how incredible your own human energy field is, to include your aura and your chakras, and then where your mental, emotional, and physical health is in relationship to the energy field. But then it was about I don't know, 5+ years ago, really started noticing just how influenced we are. Definitely, I always knew we were influenced by other people's energy, and you influence the energy field of others. But then to start realizing that you are being influenced by global events that are happening, whether it's the war in Ukraine or the fires in Hawaii and other places in the world. But then expanded even more, realizing, oh my gosh, we're influenced by an earthquake that happens on the other side of the world, but we're also influenced by the stars. And right now we are being highly influenced by the galactic core and the great attractor. So I think you're going to be hearing me talk about those two for several years to come, because we're trying to understand it, right? And it's pretty confusing. So just want to say hello again. Hello, Eric, and hi, Sam and Jennifer. Uh, yeah, yeah, it's wonderful to see you, and Jasmine and Donna. Yes, more lightheaded, Donna said, than usual. All right. So I have to say, there's some really weird stuff going on energetically. I almost feel that I don't even know, we don't have a rule book. I mean, we don't have a rule book, but the ancient ones, in other cultures have really taught us a lot. Like in Hinduism, for example, is probably one of the cultures that has the most documented metaphysical aspects of what we're going on. I mean, Hinduism is where they talk about the aura and the chakras, and talk about the light that comes through our head and how it impacts us. So we've been influenced by that for sure. But I've been finding myself really questioning, do we really know where we're going moving forward in the next few years? And for me, it's almost like every day we are being presented with a different set of circumstances. And then we take that and we just kind of tune into our intuition, that kind of helps guide us as to the next step. So, what I'm going to be talking about over the next 30 to 40 minutes, because I always like to include a meditation at the end, is that there's so many rapid fire, massive frequency fluctuations. When I've been tuning in, they're talking about there's portals that are opening, there's portals that are closing, there's dimensional shifts, and collapsing astral planes. Now, I thought, all right, how am I going to really talk about this? Especially for me, my passion is to also teach people who don't even know what an aura and a chakra is. And so how do I try to describe that in layman's terms? And I'm just going to be able to tell you right off the bat, I'm not going to be able to at this point in time. However, over time, we're all going to be learning together. So I'm glad that you are here with me. So, like for example, your chakras are portals. So I don't know if you've ever put two and two together that way, but they are portals. And your chakras, we have our 7 main ones for the human energy field, but we literally have hundreds of chakras. We have really small ones, like in all the joints in our bodies, on all the fingertips. We have all of these smaller chakras, and they're all portals. So they open, they close, and they open, and they spin, and they bring in fresh information, and they spit out old toxic energies. So they're always highly, highly active. And I teach a lot more about this in my psychic mastery programs. But right now, they're highly active. I mean, they are closing and opening and closing and opening and attempting to get you to adapt to the frequencies that are shifting really rapidly on the planet right now. So when I'm telling you all these things, I wrote my notes. What does this have to do with your human energy field? It has to do with everything in your human energy field. And your human energy field is influenced, your physical, how you feel physically is impacted, how you feel emotionally, how you feel mentally. I'm finding myself this week trying to let my mind talk sweetly to my mind and say, you can go ahead and let go of that. You can go ahead and let go of that. So I just keep talking to my mind, because our minds, when we have that confusion, we feel out of sorts. We don't know if up is down and down is up. Your mind is like rapidly trying to categorize it and put it all in nice, neat folders, right in those nice, neat little file cabinets in our mind. It is not possible. Your human mind cannot keep up with all the spiritual changes that are happening. And so how are we going to deal with that? Well, one step at a time, getting together is how we're going to deal with that. So in the August frequency forecast, Spirit came through to say that there was a whole lot of shaking up that's going to be happening in August. Of course, we had the Lionsgate portal, but that's just one small little touch compared to everything that's happening. It's happening in the ethers energy field, and it's causing all of us to kind of lose our directional compass. So often we may know, what direction we're moving forward, or we need to turn right here, but many of us are really experiencing that disorientation. And it's like, wow, I just feel odd. I think that's the biggest thing that I'm hearing from people. I just feel odd. So Dawn is saying the chakras are flying open several times a day, and she's always having to adjust them because we teach that in our programs. And so she's had that lesson, but it is rapid fire. So you're right, Jill. And our minds are really on hyperspin. So when I've been meditating with this to really try to understand, what Spirit is explaining to me is, imagine that the astronauts, or imagine yourself as an astronaut, and that you are in deep outer space, that you're far, far away from the gravitational pull of Earth. So what Spirit was saying is that we need that gravity to know that sense of self. And with the energies that are shifting, it can feel like we're floating in outer space. We don't have that gravitational pull to let us know when we're up and down. So remember that kind of anti-gravity, you're going to float upside down. How do you get yourself to turn yourself right side up again? Or you might make a little movement in outer space, and next thing you know, you're floating 20 feet away from your target. This is the best way that I felt Spirit could really describe what we are experiencing right now. But we have two gravitational pulls that are happening. Of course, gravity on our Earth is very, very strong. There are other planets out there that have a gravitational pull. But one of the biggest things that we're being influenced by is the great attractor. So you can Google that and it'll pop up on Wikipedia. It isn't some fancy word that I've created, but the great attractor is pulling. It has this enormous gravitational pull, and it's pulling the Milky Way towards it. Well, what's happening to us is we're part of this. We can see the Milky Way, and it's pulling all of us towards it. So let's say that gravitational pull is going to pull us towards it 2 inches every 10,000 years. So it's not a lot. It's not like we're just going to, our entire orbit is going to change. It is small amounts, but they are able to measure it. And so this is what's going on. We're feeling that pull this way. We're feeling the pull that way. And then at the same time, we're feeling disoriented and kind of floating around. I'm laughing. Your talks are like a lifeline. Well, yeah. I mean, first of all, I love to problem solve. And so we'll go from there. So then this is what Spirit told me for the August frequency forecast. What Spirit said was the root chakra is the crown chakra, and the crown chakra is the root chakra. All right, what are we supposed to do with that? It's like, huh? I mean, we could barely figure out what the root chakra is. We can barely figure out, we know we're a spiritual being, but we have no concepts, the depth of the capacity of each chakra. And now and we're just learning it. Now you're telling us it's all going to flip. So when I'm asking Spirit, and I talk to Spirit just like that, I'm like, what do you mean? And so, no, it's not really flipping, but what's happening is this spiritual chakra. So we know we've been talking about the third dimension, and we've been talking about the fifth dimension, and the fourth dimension's in between. So the third dimension is the earthly plane. The fourth dimension is that really magnetic heart level. And the fifth dimension is the spiritual realm. That's really moving down further into the physical realm. So this really high sacred frequency is moving down. So I think that's what they meant by, the spiritual chakra is becoming the root chakra, and the root chakra is becoming the spiritual chakra. So again, I asked about this, and it's like, yeah, the fifth dimension's coming down, but the third dimension is starting to kind of flow into the fifth dimension. And this is almost the first time this has been happening. So just based on, Sam's like, huh? I'm totally with you, Sam. So I remember noticing at the beginning of August, and this was in the August frequency forecast, that we're starting to notice a much bigger divide in our world of different ways of believing, or different conspiracy theories, different cultural ways of believing. And so that division was becoming greater. And a lot of you are saying, well, that doesn't surprise me, of course. Like here in just our political realm, to know that 50-50, it's 50-50, 50 on one side, 50 on the other side, 50%. And so, but that division has the potential to grow wider. But then this is what I'm saying about how quick it is, that here we are mid-August, and then there's this blend of energies. So we're kind of separating at the human energy field, and then, or with our human companions. And then there's this energy blending. So let's just say this one thing. If you're feeling out of sorts, there's a good reason for it. So, so I did write about the root chakra and how the root chakra that's located between our hips, it always gets underestimated as being such a significant spiritual chakra. And so I wrote about this and I did a video about this, so you can pop back and watch that. But it is very sacred. It is very spiritual. And yet the kind of the gifts and abilities of the root chakra, it's about survival. It's teaching you and guiding you to keep this system safe, your physical, emotional, mental bodies. It also teaches you how to navigate decision making and jobs and things like that. And so now that kind of that structured container is starting to influence the crown chakra, your spiritual chakra, so to prepare us to better understand what will be unfolding for us over the next several years. So there are going to be big medical breakthroughs. There's going to be huge theories and philosophy. There's already a lot in astronomy and astrology. I mean, there's a huge amount of shifts that are happening that we can't conceptualize yet. Okay, let's see what my other notes are. So all of our chakras are highly active at this high level spin. So normally these higher frequencies were reserved for the upper chakras, and now these higher frequencies are moving into the lower chakras. So it's just causing your survival chakra to be on a hyper spin, your emotional chakra, sacral chakra to be on hyper spin, and your power center to be on hyper spin. So again, you're getting to just learn how to work with yourself in new ways. And that's exciting. That's very, very exciting. So on this past weekend, there was a group of us that did a land healing, and we did a land and a house healing. So I was walking around the house and really tuned into the energy that was under my feet. So I'll ask you all, as you're just kind of listening to me, just kind of pressing your feet on the floor, really feeling the bottoms of your feet, which have so many nerve endings that really communicate to your body. So grounding is going to be super helpful because grounding is associated with gravity as well. But under my feet, I could feel a rumbling that was happening, almost like an earthquake. So I thought, am I feeling an earthquake? So I looked up our earthquake app, and no, there were no earthquakes. So there is this kind of rumbling and movement that your human energy field's being impacted by, even though you may not notice it at all at a kind of mental conscious level. Now, this is the strange thing that happened. And so when I'm talking about portals that are opening, portals that are closing, I'm talking about the astral plane that's kind of collapsing. So the other day, I woke up really early, about 4 a.m, and went to close my eyes, and it was pitch black. Like normally when I close my eyes, I can see some sense of color because, you know, I'm clairvoyant. So I have the visuals is my strong intuitive sense, but it was completely black. But in this black, it's like I could see like these, you know, like platforms, like we'll say plywood that's stacked up at Home Depot, and you need to buy some plywood pieces. You see them all stacked up. Well, this was all black. It looked like this. So when I asked Spirit, what is this? What is this? And Spirit said, oh, there are levels of the astral plane that are beginning to collapse now. And so I was like, oh, really? I didn't know that was possible. And why is that happening? So if you think about So the astral plane is the world that you travel into when you are dreaming. When your body goes to sleep, it starts detoxing, your spirit rises up out of the body, and you might travel to the 112th dimension to go hang out with some of your spirit buddies up there. Like all your friends could leave at the same time. It's like, okay, let's meet by the tree in the 26th dimension or the 113th dimension. Okay, next time you go to sleep, let's jump over the 65th dimension and see what's going on there. Let's check on our buddies. Now I'm overly simplifying it, but it is kind of like that. So, and how do I know? Because I had an out-of-body experience and I got to go to a lot of dimensions. So, why would the astral plane be collapsing? Well, what Spirit described to me was there are astral levels that were at a certain frequency. And as the fifth dimension is coming down to these lower astral dimensions, those lower astral dimensions can no longer exist. So if you think about, I'm trying to think about dropping sugar into water, a boiling pot of water, or even non-boiling water, the sugar's going to melt. So the sugar can be that powder form in one dimension, but then you put it into another frequency, like sugar into water, and then suddenly it cannot exist in that same form. So let's use the word assimilated. It gets assimilated back into those higher frequencies. All right. Is this kind of making sense a little bit? I'm trying hard here, you guys. I'm trying really, really hard to conceptualize all this and put it into words, but hoping that that will help. All right. So those dimensions are collapsing. So what do you think's happening in your own auric field? Well, in your own energy field, you have stored past lives. You have stored old memories, you know, the memories from childhood that you play in your head over and over and over again. Thanks, Rebecca. So, you know, you've got all this old energy, but you also have in your bones, in your DNA, your ancestral genetics, where we can hold that trauma in our bones. And there is a research study done of ancestors from the Holocaust, and that they are able to track with every generation a certain genetic code or pattern associated with that original trauma. All right, you there with me? So now it's a good thing, right? It's a good thing the astral planes are collapsing. But I will have to tell you, I was just like, oh my gosh, what's this mean? Is it the end of the world? If it's collapsing, what's going to happen? I had that for a nanosecond because your body is going to get afraid. Your spirit's not afraid, but your body might get a little shaken up. So you want to reassure your body it's going to be okay. So, so what happens is that those old past life memories, your old genetic trauma memories, maybe even in this lifetime where you felt really hurt and harmed, betrayed or abandoned, that can no longer remain in the higher frequencies. It must collapse. It must dissolve. It must be assimilated into those higher frequencies. All right, I'm going to give you another example. So let's say you were hurt and harmed. Let's say that or maybe you grew up in poverty, or maybe you struggled with addiction, or, right? So on this plane, maybe you were diagnosed with cancer, or you have some type of physical, emotional, mental illness. So at this level, it's like, this is not fair. It's not fair that you got cancer. It's not fair that that you got abandoned. It's not fair that you got abused, and that we can let that turn over in our energy field quite a bit. But as you start, your consciousness starts to go to higher realms. So let's just make that gigantic leap to the angelic realm. And I'm just going to do a little exaggerated angel face. So the angels are like, you're beautiful. Your life is beautiful. Now down here, you're like, no, it sucks. It really sucks. And the angels are like, you have a beautiful radiance around you. So this is what I'm describing is that sucky part, that part that's really hard about being here on the earth is starting to collapse. So you can do backflips and be really excited. And then I'll say, and it still might take 10 years for that to finish collapsing. So this is why we have those higher frequencies. This is why all of a sudden we might find ourselves having a little bit more compassion for ourselves and for others, what's going on in their life. We're able to maybe be the witness and the observer from that high spiritual perspective to see, oh, this crisis you're in is only going to last 2 more days. See, these are the intuitive things your spirit can tell you. You know, don't hang your hat on that hook of pain, because in 2 more days, something really good's going to happen and you're going to completely forget about it. All right. So the astral plane collapsing, what's happening was I felt myself lose my connection with the earth. And that's where I really felt turned upside down. So, yes, Jasmine. So, yes, that definitely it can mean it's getting easier to heal yourself and to heal others. I love that. And like Eric's saying, you know, I feel the magnitude of the world. And so, yeah, how to be an empath in 2023. Well, the first thing that I'm just going to say, Eric, is it's always about taking the elevator to the top. So being the observer, be the witness. So let's go ahead and start a meditation. And we're going to kind of get that sense more of the root chakra. And we're going to get that sense about when you're feeling overwhelmed with everything that's collapsing inside of you and around you, and it may feel overwhelming. You know, where's that safe place going to be within you? So we'll do a meditation. So just to let you know, if you take your fingers here, it's going to be between your fingers. You're going to move your consciousness here, or if you go to the forehead and the back of the head. So it's going to be right in the center of the head is where you'll bring consciousness, but you don't have to worry about that right now. We'll talk about it in the meditation. Whew. So I'm just going to say one more thing. Even though none of us can really conceptualize all of this, me included, we are creating the language for the future. So this talk today is just going to help unlock a few of those limiting beliefs, those limiting doors, so that we can begin to maybe explore what the astral plane is and what this might mean for our life. All right, let's do a little quick meditation. All right. Go ahead and close your eyes and turn within. And as you're turning within, I'm tuning into you all as a group. And the first thing that I can feel is your physical bodies are really just shaken up right now. I'm not quite sure how to conceptualize this information. So let's just take a moment, because your spirit's super excited. So let's just take a moment to, talk sweetly to your body right now. And because your body and your mind might be screaming, I don't understand. And then you just say, that's okay. I don't think anybody really understands right now, so you're in good company. And so just really help settle your human body. Nice, nice. Remind your body how old it is, because if you have unsettled memories of an event that happened last month, your age is going to be a month ago, or maybe when you were a teen or a child. So it'll be really helpful over the next several years to always be reminding yourself of your current age and today's date. Now, let's just take that imagination and playfulness that your spirit has, as your spirit's super excited because it's got that higher angelic perspective, right? It's like everything's lovely, everything's working out beautifully. Aren't we all excited? And your body's like, heck no, I don't know what planet you're living on, but it's sucky right here. And so really tap into your spirit, use that imagination playfulness. So now let's imagine the astronaut. If you've ever seen an astronaut movie, where a little meteor rock hits and knocks the plane, knocks the, I don't even know what you call it, spaceship. And then the astronaut gets knocked and is spinning, right? And they're getting knocked far away, and they hope the tether's going to keep them tethered to the spaceship. So your tether is going to be grounding. You're going to keep spinning and confused unless you have more grounding. So we're going to spend a little more time with grounding today. So ask that playful spirit. It's like, all right, how do I strengthen my tether to earth and gravity? What kind of image would be helpful? And then go ahead and create that grounding gravity energy force. Connect to the lower part of your aura all the way down to the center of the earth. Once you're at the center of the earth, create another image. So it can be like tree roots, or it can be ropes with anchors on it. It can be vines. It can be amethyst light beams. It can be anything it can be elephants that are helping to pull your grounding and really anchor it into the magnetic core. So go ahead and do that right now. Perfect. You're all doing really well, but it may not feel like you're doing well because I can just see you're dumping so much from the astral plane collapse, from your own old energy collapsing, because it's just draining, like just big time draining down your grounding right now. So that's a really, really wonderful. So let's be a little playful with this gravity. Uh, you can imagine a dial, and as you turn the dial up, the gravity gets stronger. If you lighten the dial, it gets lighter. Sometimes I like to use one of those little round things to roll up the hoses, right? So it's like I'll crank that to my garbage truck to really strengthen and tighten up my grounding. So right now, play with a dial or play with a feeling to strengthen and lighten your grounding. You may start to notice your sinuses draining, the pressure off your head is draining, and this because gravity, the gravitational pull, is pulling that old congested energy off the top of your head and right down your grounding. So now allow the earth energy to come up because the earth energy frequency has really shifted this month. And so just pretend and imagine if the earth was pure light, that the frequency of the earth could radiate up through the earth's crust and up into your body. I just want you to feel into the frequency of the earth right now. And how does it influence and impact how your physical body's feeling? Now allow yourself to feel into the celestial realm of the grand cosmos. And it can be any color that you wish to draw upon, but allow that the cosmic influence to come down and just to start flowing through your aura, because you may find that you're starting to feel that cosmic connection stronger than normal. You may not feel anything either, but go ahead and feel into the frequency and the light of the cosmos right now. As I'm kind of watching, I'm noticing for many of you, the chakras have kind of closed down. The roots open, the crown's open, but the chakras in between, you don't even need to know what they are or where they're located. Just set your intention that all of your chakras will open in a relaxed way and will flow in a harmonious way with each other. So just set that intention right now. All right, it's making a big difference. I can feel it, I can see it, and so just know that you will feel your chakras harmonizing throughout the day. All right, now let's take the elevator to the sixth chakra. So for those of you who are empaths, you may find that your consciousness is down in your pelvic area, in your sacral area. So just imagine that you're allowing the consciousness of your light to come up and be in the center of your head. And yet there are others of you who really kind of float up out of your body, or it feels more comfortable for you to float above your head so that you don't feel your body so much. So let's go ahead and you would take the elevator down. So it doesn't matter, we're going to meet in the sixth chakra. I can hear some of you going, this is not easy. And it's a little challenged because of our challenges with grounding right now. But go ahead and as much as you can, get to the center of your head. It will help if you place your hands on your head. That will help bring your consciousness to follow the energy of your hands. There you go. Now I can see some of you starting to pop in, and I'm actually hearing the popping sound. So good job breaking through that little energetic barrier. So just to know, that is the place where you are the observer. That's the place where you're neutral, where you cannot be in judgment. You cannot criticize if you are in the center of your head near your pineal. And that the pain and experiences in your life take on a different quality and meaning when you observe it from that higher perch. So let's just take a moment. Let's thank the body, thank your spirit. Thank yourself for making sure that you checked your clock to get on this live call, or if you are tuning in later for the replay, to actually listen and follow this through, even though it might be totally confusing. And whenever you're ready, open your eyes and stretch your body. And just remember, we are all in this together. You are not alone. Spirit has been telling me this a lot the past few days. You're not alone. You're not alone. At that spiritual level, we are really in this together. So just know that we've got some more talks like this coming up. We've been doing talks on the Intuition with Precision Facebook page about the aura. The blue light talk, I'm going to be talking about the three mesas and the blue light and the blue kachina, which is a star being. So I'll be talking about that on my blue light movement page on Facebook as well. That'll come up the 26th. But hang in there. Join my website, intuitivemind.org. Get your name on the mailing list, because there are going to be some really great things coming up, and some great opportunities for those on the mailing list. So wonderful to see you all this morning. Please make a comment in the comment section. Once I close this down, you can come back later and post while it's uploading. These are confusing times and super exciting times too. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.